Hello, and welcome to Tank Talks Asia, coming to you from the Asia Work studio in Singapore. As ever, we have a cracking episode for you. So you might be watching or listening to this show thousands of miles away, cognizant that the world is more connected than ever. Technology intersects all of our lives, doesn't it? And it's a hotly discussed topic on Wall Street and Silicon Valley. This year, venture capitalists have reportedly poured a whopping $192.7 billion into AI startups. So why is this all happening? Are we in the throes of a fourth industrial revolution? Our guest has some answers. She's a renowned Silicon Valley-based investor and a serial entrepreneur. She has extensive experience in bringing a broad range of technologies to market and deep domain expertise in AI in healthcare, enterprise AI networks, edge computing, and data privacy. So let's welcome Lu Zhang, founder and managing partner of Fusion Fund. Lu, it's lovely to have you on the show. How are you doing?
Good. Busy though. Thank you for having me.
I know you're busy. You told me that you're only going to be in Singapore for 2 days? Is that normal? Is that your lifestyle, just jet setting around?
I think first, I don't really travel much internationally. Most of my trip is domestic in United States. But within US, yes, I do crazy day trip from West Coast to East Coast. Right eye in, right eye out. And meanwhile, on flight Wi-Fi is my friends. I also always working on the flight as well, and then working on the emails and follow up everything. So it's kind of 24/7 thing for me.
So we were talking, and I said to you, I sort of feel, and I want to say this for the sake of our audience, I can feel your vibe sitting across the table from you. Just this energy, this curiosity, this no holds barred type of approach to life.
I feel like it's also kind of the reason I become a venture capitalist, especially focus on early stage investment, because I'm a high energy person. I got super excited when I saw new innovation, which also partially from my full curiosity about what is happening within the industry, driving changes with technology innovation. So I think my personality matched really well with the industry I'm working at, and the Silicon Valley gave me a very strong sense of belonging. So here I am with a crazy travel schedule.
Were you always like that? What were you like? What was little Lu Zhang like?
I think when I was a young kid, I was full of curiosity already. I have a very big imagination about the future. I still remember when I was very little, I saw this magazine talk about the future of the space exploration, that you can build a space elevator. And in order to build a space elevator, you want to use the hardest material on the Earth, which is the carbon nanotube. And after that, many years later, when I went to college, the major I chose was material science engineering, partially because of that. And I did a couple years of research on carbon nanotube because of that. Of course, eventually I didn't end up building the space elevator. I'll go into that industry. But it's kind of an initial reflection of how I got so passionate and interested into technology innovation. Also reflect later, nowadays, I'm investing in AI, healthcare, and the deep tech, especially space tech. So all the dots connected. But when I was little, I never had idea that where I'm going to be and even also what I'm going to do in 20, 30 years later.
But remind me, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a place called Inner Mongolia.
Okay.
So I'm actually half Mongolian, half Manchurian.
Wow. What was the weather like? What was the territory like? Because I'm imagining it's really different from Silicon Valley, which is where you live now.
Oh, of course. We had really hot summer, really cold winter. It's a very clear differentiation between different seasons, but also it's very, very beautiful nature. It's like breathtaking. If you ever got a chance to go to Inner Mongolia or just Mongolia in general, that's one of the best probably destination for vacation. Very beautiful nature, very rich culture as well, and a terrific food. And just that we don't have too much of the innovation there in terms of technology innovation. Inner Mongolia is famous for natural resources and mining industry, which also, we talk about rare earths, right? And actually, Inner Mongolia have lots of rare earth storage.
Yeah, super topical at the moment.
Yes.
Very topical in all the headlines. But how do you make this jump from Inner Mongolia and you go over to the US? What was the story?
Yeah, I think it's partially just because I want to go to US for graduate school. So I applied for graduate school and I got into Stanford. My plan was, get a PhD degree, professor, potentially go with academia route and become a professor and make my Asian parents proud, which never happened. And
wait, your Asian parents are not proud of you?
They're still challenging me why I'm not going back to school, get a PhD then. My advisor already retired from university. I don't think there's anything I can do about it. But on the other side, I think Silicon Valley have such a unique innovation ecosystem, really give lots of encouragement to young entrepreneurs who want to make a difference. That's how I really got into that and move forward, eventually become a young entrepreneur when I was like 21, 22, and eventually sold my company when I was 24. At that time, I thought I'm going to become a serial entrepreneur because I'm so tech nerdy and I have different technology I'm passionate about. But then all of a sudden, I start to invest in company with my personal money. And later I found out not only I can get a good financial return, I'm also super valuable and useful to the founder I'm working with, leverage my experience as an entrepreneur, leverage my technical background for both hardware, software, AI, healthcare. So in 2015, without any planning, become a venture capitalist. I launched my own VC fund, the Fusion Fund. I still remember back in the day, that was more than 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I had a journalist reach out to me saying that, I never saw a person with your background launch their own fund. You might be the first one. What do you think? I'm like, bingo. I love to be the first one.
Yeah.
That's part of my, I would say, personality from Inner Mongolia. Like to take the challenge, fight a battle, and prove people they're wrong.
What did you do that was outside the box, that was different, that ended up with you at the age of 24, a female in Silicon Valley from a different background, being able to sell a company? Like, what was it that you were bringing to the table that perhaps other people weren't?
Yeah, on one side, I think you really have a clear vision that the problem you wanted to solve. I think it's not only for entrepreneur, even as an investor. Chase after the buzzword is never a good idea. Whether you have a strong understanding of the problem within the industry, a sector you believe there's a big upside potential, and also have a clear vision of the solution you wanted to build and also how to address the problem. I think that's really go back to what we talk about. Entrepreneur need to have long-term consistent vision. Another thing I think is really about execution capability. Deliver what you promise or over-deliver. I think that's part of my personality because my background, my profile, I'm a minority female, combination of all this like uncheck the box. So people always have the doubt about what I can get things done. Gradually, I also have this tendency that for me, the target is not to deliver, it's to always over-deliver. It's not meeting the deadline, it's always deliver early on. It's always do better than people's expectation. I think that part gave me lots of credibility. I still remember when I was entrepreneur, I got many people challenge me and also have still typing out maybe not necessarily in the best position to collaborate with me. But some of them actually totally changed their perspective later on.
Really?
Become one of my biggest supporter, investor, and even work with me closely along the way. I think that's the credibility I earned from my hard work and delivery and also consistent vision of what I want to build. Even after I start Fusion Fund, the same thing. Fund 1 was very small, less than $20 million.
Okay.
Now, after 10 years, we're over $500 million size. And many of my partners, they knew me since 2015. So when I told them that what I wanted to build in Fusion Fund, the ecosystem, the sector we focus on, why we want to support founder, we got things delivered.
Yeah.
And it's very consistent. And they also love the vision, love the potential of the firm. That's the reason many of my partners, they joining me in like 2017, 2018. I started as a solo GP. It's another startup. It's just a startup in the VC industry. Another thing is very interesting is most of my partners, they're much older than me.
Like, are they?
Yeah.
So were they contemporaries of yours at the time? People who were in your network or people who sort of came from somewhere and said, I've read about you, I want to be involved?
So I have one of my partners, a former CTO, global CTO of HP. Another partner was a former executive from Microsoft, Yahoo, all this top tech company. I think having the team get together with me is really just about building up the whole team with complementary industry background with each other.
Yeah.
I always talk about there's no perfect individual, there's always perfect team, but how to build up the best team.
Yeah.
Number one is have a clear vision. You can really share the roadmap and also the potential projection of how company going to grow. Another thing is getting delivered. When people say, okay, not only you have a clear vision, you got things delivered step by step, they will join you.
You make it sound so doable and so smooth, but there are always going to be challenges.
Of course.
So obviously I want to ask, what are some of those big challenges? You mentioned that some of these people were older than you. I expect the answer is no, but did you ever feel intimidated by that?
Not really. I think on one side is because my personality is very strong.
Yeah.
And they probably is much softer than I do. You know, if you look at the dynamic of Silicon Valley, more than 40% of the local residents are first-generation immigrant like me. If you look at the people who are also including second-generation immigrant, probably more than 70%. So people come together from different culture, different country. So it's less about whether you and me share the same culture or religion for us to work together. It's more about whether we want to solve the same problem. So I feel that's the part we sometimes talk about in Silicon Valley, that the experience is overrated. It's also a reflection of people are willing to bet more on the future potential, less on what you've done in the past.
What is it like for startups in Silicon Valley right now? Because it sounds like there's a lot of money going around.
Yeah. You know, last quarter, I think Q3, we have over $90 billion into venture industry in general. More than 60% went to AI company. The thing is, number one, Silicon Valley have probably highest density of the venture capital firm across the whole world. In United States, more than 50% of US VC are based in Silicon Valley. But people have no idea how small Silicon Valley is. It's not San Francisco. It's the small ecosystem surrounding Palo Alto. Palo Alto population is about 60,000 people. And we have couple city like around the Palo Alto, you know, very few population, but has control over big chunk of capital. That's one thing, but it's not the only reason. Another thing is to build a successful startup, it's not only about how much money you raise. It's also about how much revenue you can generate, how much partnership you can build up at earlier stage. In Silicon Valley, it's much easier to connect with industry leader. And also another thing is mindset in Silicon Valley is people really give lots of credit to innovator and entrepreneur. They are willing to give opportunity to work with a smaller startup company. So we have company with less than 10 people, 6 people, they be able to get a pretty sizable contract from Fortune 500 company. But it's harder for outside Silicon Valley, people have that mindset to take the risk to try out a new innovation. And that's the one important part for building a sustainable, successful startup. It's really getting faster on the market validation and revenue growth. Another thing is, of course, we want to support and back innovation, but investors are also looking for liquidity and exit. And founders are also thinking about how to get a nice exit. And, you know, this is win-win situation. If you're in Silicon Valley, there's a higher chance you bump into someone from this large tech company. They like what you're doing and they start to talk about merge acquisition. Although we are thinking about IPO as a primary exit for the venture backable company, but in reality, more than 80% of company are exits through merge acquisition. It's actually it has a big contribution to the cycling of the capital. It's a very healthy, you know, cycle process that the capital come back to the market, reinvest, and also is the engine to generate a special group of people who called serial entrepreneur.
Yeah, but the thing is, some people, some from other parts of the world, perhaps here in Asia, will say, but we need to see that happen here. Why are we not seeing that happen here?
I think on one side is really U.S. have probably one of the most mature business ecosystem in the whole world, which means even though now we talk about some like company like Microsoft, Apple, they sounds like boutique company, they were entrepreneur, they were startup back in the
everybody
days.
started somewhere.
So they always have the spirit of embrace innovation, which also means they will have dedicated budget within the large corporate to always looking at the future. So if you look at a CTO for lots of the US large corporate, their main responsibility is not necessarily care about existing technology solution. It's about investing in the future. What we should do 5 years, 10 years from now and try to take risk. I think that's part of the important.
Are you saying that perhaps then that's not happening enough in Asia?
I don't know. I hope it's gonna happen more, but I feel like US have that legacy for a long time.
Yeah.
Some people told me the ecosystem is booming, lots of innovation. Other founder told me that when they try to sell to the large corporate here, they're like, oh, we need to see the vendor have at least the 3 to 4 years of cash flow.
Right.
For a smaller startup, how could you really have that 3 years of cash flow? As an investor, we don't want them to have 3 years of cash flow. We want to prioritize the growth. So I think that's one thing. Another thing is I think lots of large corporate in United States, their main business mindset is, I want to focus on the thing I'm really good at and invest a lot. But for the thing other people can do better than me, I just use the third-party vendor, I just build up the ecosystem. Give you an example, NVIDIA is one of my favorite company. They have an amazing program called the Inception program. They started more than 8 years ago. This program is dedicated to support top AI startup at the earlier stage. with partnership, with capital, with collaboration with NVIDIA, they grow from zero now over 25,000 companies in the program. All these smaller startups, they're not paying much to NVIDIA, but why NVIDIA doing so? They're investing in the future. These are their potential future customers, going to generate a huge amount of revenue for them 10 years from now.
It's so visionary. Speaking of visionary, I mean, you've been quite a visionary. I'm curious because obviously you are supporting a lot of companies, and I want to know which are the ones you're really excited about, which are the fields, the themes that you're excited about.
Yeah, there are lots of exciting things happening, especially this year since are evolving so fast. So we've been investing in 3 vertical: enterprise AI, healthcare, and industry automation. Specifically, I'm very passionate about the new upcoming trend is really focused on how to make AI cheaper. We should talk about it more because every time there's a new launches, people only look at, okay, benchmark, who has better benchmark data. But AI is also quite expensive. How to make AI cheaper and make it a profitable business? AI have huge energy consumption, GPU consumption, and also there's a data privacy concern, and also how to empower AI on the edge devices. So I've been investing in company doing AI on the edge devices. Just think about, you not only have AI on the phone and the computer, you can have the AI on the microphone. I was joking that if we can run AI on the microphone when there's a presidential debate in the United States, you don't need to do fact checking after the debate.
It would do it automatically.
Exactly. The microphone can just
that's an amazing
mute
idea.
You when you're saying something wrong. And it's possible. It's happening right now. For applications specifically, there are so many opportunities. I will highlight 2 industries I personally very passionate about. One is AI in healthcare.
Yeah.
You know, my background, I always have a special passion for the healthcare. I feel we not only want AI to create generate funny photo, funny video for us, how about just use it to improve the quality of life?
Yeah, of course.
So AI can really provide a personalized diagnostic result and enable personalized digital therapeutic solution. So this year we did a couple company. One company did a vertical model for cell therapy, which is fascinating. Another one did a vertical model for MRI sequencing data for like a cancer and other diseases.
Yeah.
Not only early diagnostic, but early on also personalized therapeutic solution. We also have a couple companies focused on treatment, digital therapeutic solution for Parkinson, dementia, and depression. I'm not talking about pausing. I'm talking about reversing and really cure it. How could it be possible nowadays? Partially because AI can collecting all the biometric data, connecting different biomarkers to provide personalized diagnostic results. All these mental diseases are highly customized in a way that we cannot treat it with the standardized solution.
But in the main, are you saying that the AI is speeding up the research? The AI is getting us there faster so that we can solve these problems?
Exactly. So there's a huge wave going on right now with AI in healthcare. Another application vertical I really like is about AI in space tech.
But wait there, I want to come back to space tech in a bit, but while you're talking about healthcare data, something really interesting has happened in India, which is OpenAI has done a deal with a telecoms company, and it's being rolled out for free to anyone who's on that network. Now, I heard that news, and obviously that's quite incredible, but the amount of data that OpenAI is going to be able to harvest is something else. Am I being a little bit cynical? Because some people would say, no, my data's valuable. Why should you take it for free?
Exactly. I think you're right, because the data is also an asset for every single individual. It's just that now people assuming they're using free product. Nothing is free. You're paying with your data. In the future, we always probably gonna see the changes of the people start to realize, I want to claim the ownership of my data, how to monetize my data. Then lots of the business model nowadays has to be disrupted by the time. And meanwhile, you're so right. The reason OpenAI did the deal is mainly for the data. You need higher quality of the data to fine-tune the model. Nowadays, after we went through a round of the model launching and fine-tuning, the quality of the data matters more than the quantity of the data. So that's the reason healthcare have so much opportunity. Not only is 20% US GDP, is more than 30% of human data we have. Coming back to space, why is valuable? Because now we have access to even cheaper space data, satellite data. We all watched the launch of Starship, SpaceX, which is fascinating. And also, not only is a successful launch, it's also a reusing like super heavy booster, lots of other component. Essentially, may reduce the launching cost from a couple $100 million to $10-20 million in the next couple of years. What does it mean?
It's revolutionary.
Exactly. Do a quick math. Every single launch, if it's only $10-20 million, Starship is the largest rocket in the whole world. It can carry over 100 people per launch, 650 satellites per launch.
Yeah.
If it's only $10 million per launch, per person is $100K launching cost. Per satellite is roughly $20K launching cost.
That's less than you have to pay to go up into space on Blue Origin.
And also probably even similar to some business class tickets fly from Singapore to San Francisco, right? And think about it, if the launching cost is so low for satellite, we will be able to access to so many satellite data with much cheaper costs. Satellite data is very valuable. It's not only about space. We're using satellite data to solve the problem on the Earth.
Yeah.
That's the reason I'm very bullish about AI in space tech. Besides the AI with the data, another thing is we have so much discussion about the trend of physical AI and robotics. I feel try to replace human labor with robotics in the day-to-day, it still takes some time because we're very picky.
And people like me who are old and don't buy it and don't like the idea of it at all.
Yes, but on the other side, if you think about if we're going to open up the space factory, if we're going to do a lot of space infrastructure on the space, sending someone up maybe is getting cheaper, but in order to maintain a system for a human being is still quite expensive. But you can leverage robotics.
I can see the value of that. Look, Lu, we don't have too much time left with you, and you're probably going to be stepping on a plane and going away. And so before we lose you to that, I want to ask you, what's coming next for you? You are just full of this frenetic energy. You're excited about everything. And I'm really glad that you're on the good side of things. I'm so glad that you want to leverage this technology for good. What's on the horizon for you? What's coming up in the next year?
I think next year going to be a very interesting year. On one side, the technology going to continue to evolve and accelerating. People ask me about AI trend, whether we're on the peak. No, we just get started. And not only just started with the application layer, but also the fundamental model layer potential got evolved. Now we only talk about transformer model. And next year we may talk about different model architecture. We only talk about large language model. And then next year we may talk more about a physical model, like physical world, a word model as well.
And we'll start talking about things like quantum computing and throwing that in there.
And also lots of things going to continue to evolve, either powered by AI or become part of the ecosystem for AI. That's fascinating. I'm sure that next year I'm going to be even busier. But on the other side, there are lots of bubble going on. Every time we have a new technology trend, there are always bubble, especially bubble on the capital market. No matter on the private market, on the public market, it's happening. So I think next year will be very interesting that the technology trend is evolving, but also there's a bubble issue with the capital market. How to handle that, how the economy and society respond to it. With also very tricky and sensitive geopolitical issue going on. So that's kind of contribute to different layer of uncertainty. But uncertainty is good. Uncertainty means you got lots of surprise. For people as me with lots of curiosity, I'm so looking forward to next year.
Last question is, how do you relax? Do you ever relax?
I sometimes relax, but for me, the thing is, I'm not the type of personality I can take like 1 week vacation without just the only vacation. I got so bored very quickly. But what I like is
maybe you went to the wrong place. I don't know.
I feel like for me, it's just about jumping thing here or there. For example, I always do it like with a very busy week, back-to-back meeting, maybe a business trip, crazy day trip, red-eye from East Coast, etc. And right after landing, I may rush to the Chase Center to watch the NBA game. And I may rush to, last time I actually, right after my trip, I rushed to the Coldplay concert. I had a great time.
So I complain.
Exactly.
That's a nice one.
I feel like for me, the energy also comes from the variety of the experience I'm having. I love the song. I'm a big fan of Coldplay. They have a song of adventure of lifetime. That's the thing I believe. I want to have adventure of lifetime. It's not just a one type of adventure, but different type of adventure.
I did say that was the last question, but I have one more sneaky question, which is, what if people watch this, other like young girls who might watch this and say, I want to be like Lu Zhang? What would you say to them?
I would say that first, really thinking through who you want to be and what you want to build in your life in the future. And finding the passion is really important. And that's also contribute back to make that will help you make easy decision. I feel like on one side, if you want to become a lucky person, you need to work hard. Of course, that's the foundation. But on the other side, life is about making choices. Choose the right place at the right time, mingle with the right people. But how to make those choices is based on what you clearly want 10 years from now, 20 years from now. I feel lots of people hasn't figured out what they really want to.
It's a good point. It's true. So true.
That's the reason they're just follow the instruction from others.
Yeah.
Follow what others do, follow what society told them.
Yeah.
But if you are so clear about what you want to be, who you want to be, making choices is so easy.
Yeah, kids, you heard it here. Put the phones down and do your own thing.
Yeah, do the thinking.
Yeah, do the thinking.
Don't ask
Exactly.
ChatGPT.
Exactly. Having spoken about AI the whole time, Lu, it's been an absolute honor and a pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm afraid that's it for this episode. I'm Manisha Tank from me and the team. Thank you so much for listening. And please don't forget to subscribe and follow Tank Talks Asia. That way, you'll continue to support our mission to bring the real story of what's happening here in Asia to the rest of the world. And of course, you'll never miss an episode. Tank Talks Asia is an Asia Works production.